Hello, and thanks for tuning in for Core Yoga today. My name is Erica, and I'm with UMBC Recreation. If you're new to this class, it's structured much like any other exercise class. We start with a slow warm-up, building some heat in the body, prepping our core for some workouts, and then we pick up some speed, moving a bit around on the mat some more. And then we end with the cool down, where we have a final rest period where we lay flat on our back for 2 to 3 minutes, try to remain still, and sort of reflect on the practice, how we feel in our body, and sort of turn the focus inward. Because yoga isn't just about exercising the body, it's also about the mind. Before we get started, I want to remind everyone to always listen to your body. Please don't let your ego get in the way of your practice. If you're feeling tired, take a break. If something doesn't feel right, you don't have to do it. Sometimes what I'm doing might look a little different than what you're doing, and that's okay. Practice for your body and nobody else's. And of course, if you're always make sure to check with the doctor before you start a new exercise regimen. Now that we've got that out of the way, let's get started. We're going to get started sitting on our mat facing the front, so any comfortable seated position will do. I'm going to take a cross-legged position, but if that's not so comfortable for you, any other position. And just face the front of your mat, place your hands at your sides, maybe on your knees. And we'll start with a few deep breaths. Deepen your natural breath. And pick a point of focus, maybe on the mat, on the wall. Keep your gaze in one spot as you draw the breath in and out. Starting to breathe in through the nose and out through the mouth. And each time you exhale, imagine that all stress is leaving the body. Maybe any reservations you might have had about the class, leaving the body on the exhale. Slowly resume your normal pattern of breath. And extend your right arm up to the ceiling, nice and long, stretching through the tips of the fingers. Right ribs reaching high towards the ceiling, belly button drawing back towards the ribs. Getting a nice side stretch, a nice stretch for the core as well. If you want to deepen that stretch, you can fall a little bit over to the left. And we'll release by lowering the arm back down by our side. Left arm up to the ceiling, reaching through the tips of the fingers, left ribs reaching to the ceiling. Breathing here. We've extended that stretch on the opposite side. Do the same here, falling slightly towards the right this time. Belly button's active, drawing back to the spine. And we release, hands down by our sides. Round the spine, tucking your chin to your chest. Then lift and arch the spine, gazing up to the ceiling. Again, we round, chin to chest. Lift and arch, head lifts. And keep up with this movement at your own pace, rounding and lifting the spine. As we open the chest, expanding on the front side of the body. And relaxing muscles around the spine. Find some stillness in your seated position. Spinal twist to the right. So we twist to the right, right hand directly behind, left hand directly in front. And gaze to look out over the right shoulder. Keep the spine tall towards the sky. Belly still drawing in, even here. Take a deep breath in through your nose. And as you exhale out through the mouth, unwind and return to center. We'll spinal twist to the left, left hand behind, right in front. Excuse me. Take a deep breath in through the nose. Exhaling out through the mouth to unwind and return to front. Come to a tabletop position on our hands and our knees, wrists stacked under shoulders and knees stacked underneath the hips. Lean forward so shoulders are out past the wrist, and then lean back. We'll do this a few times back and forth. A few stretches for the wrist. We're taking a few planks in this class, so we're just warming up. Find your tabletop position again. And now turn the hands so the fingertips face the long edges of the mat. So fingertips are out. And we're going to lean left to right. Nice and slow. Return to tabletop. Turn the hands so the fingertips are facing towards the body. And we'll just lean back and come forward. Once again, just a few times. Nice and easy, loosening up those wrists. Find your tabletop and turn the fingertips facing towards the front of the mat. Lift up to the tips of the fingers and extend your right leg behind you, pointing through the toes, heel in line with hip, in line with shoulders. Resist the urge to arch the back. Instead, pull the belly in for nice long spine. Gaze is down towards the floor. Draw this right knee in towards your chest, rounding the spine, pulling the belly in for a crunch, and then extend the leg behind you. We'll take that one more time. Knee to chest, round the spine, pull the knee nice and high, and step the foot in between the hands into lunge. Manually place your foot there if you can't do it hands-free. Ankle is right below the knee. Slowly lift both arms overhead. And take a breath or two here. Reaching tall towards the ceiling, shoulders drop down the back. Take a deep breath in through your nose. And as you exhale out through the mouth, we'll spinal twist to the right, lowering our hands down by our side. So right hand directly behind. Inhale through the nose, both arms overhead, looking forward. Exhale out through the mouth. Take that spinal twist to the right, lower the hands, belly draws in. Inhale, both arms up, facing forward. Last time, exhale nice and slow into the twist. Draw the belly back towards the spine. And inhale, arms overhead. Exhale, fingertips to floor. Extend your right leg behind you, pointing through the toes, and return to tabletop. Left leg extends, heel in line with hip, in line with shoulders. Draw that belly in, flattening the back. Draw knee to chest, now rounding the back, pulling the knee up high, and extend. One more time. Knee to chest, pull the knee high, draw the belly in, round the spine, and get your foot into lunge. Slowly lift both arms overhead, taking a breath or two here. Reach nice and tall for the ceiling. Deep breaths into the chest. On your next exhale, spinal twist to the left, lowering those arms, drawing belly in. Breath in, arms up. Exhale to twist from the belly, looking behind you. Breath in, arms up. Last time, we exhale nice and slow, adding the twist. Inhale, arms back overhead, and exhale, fingertips to floor. Extend the left leg long behind you, pointing through the toes, and return to tabletop. Settle into child's pose, hips to heels, arms down the length of the mat, forehead to mat. And we'll finish our warm-up here with a few breaths in child's pose. Child's pose helps open the hips, lengthen the spine. Take a few breaths here. This is our rest period. Anytime during the class, you're more than welcome to come to this pose and take a break. If you're uncomfortable in this pose for any reason, take a look up here and try puppy pose for your rest instead. Elbows to mat and head hangs heavy. Take one last deep breath wherever you're at. And slowly rise back to a tabletop position. Lift up to the fingertips. Extend your left leg behind you, pointing through the toes. Give me a crunch, knee to chest, round the spine, and step the foot into lunge. Right toes are tucked onto the mat. We'll lift that knee into the air, sending hips up, lifting up to the pointer and middle finger. Looking forward, chest ascending forward, left knee over the ankle. Step up to half lift, so my right foot steps up to meet my left, flattening the back, hands to shins. Lower to fold, bend the knees, drop your belly to your thighs, let arms and head hang heavy. We want a closeness of thighs and belly here in forward fold to protect the low back. If your belly is far away from your thighs, bend the knees, send the ribs down. One vertebrae at a time, we'll round our spines until we're in a standing position. Leave your chin tucked to your chest until you make it all the way to the top. So now we're about to pick up the pace a little bit. Before we jump in, I'm going to demo our plank sequence for the week. Every week there's a new sequence. So I'm going to demo first, and then we'll tie it into the flow together. So this is a plank sequence. We're starting in a plank position. Fingers spread nice and wide, shoulders underneath the wrist. Ankles in line with hips, in line with the shoulders. Even if you've done plank 1,000 times, check your alignment. Make sure your hips aren't too low, and make sure they aren't too high. Nice and in line. Core is activated, shoulders are activated, even my thighs and my glutes. We're going to keep it nice and easy today with some crunches. So right knee to left armpit. Aim for the armpit, even if you don't make it there, and then we'll cross the left over. So we'll do crunch, crunch 1, crunch, crunch 2, crunch, crunch 3. We'll come down to forearm plank. Same thing with the alignment here, holding for 5 seconds, and then we'll release to the mat and carry on the sequence from there. So let's get started. If you're not still standing at the top of your mat, go ahead and stand there now, feet hips width distance apart. Give me a nice deep breath in through the nose and out through the mouth. Slowly lift both arms overhead, gaze is up towards the fingers. And lower to fold, belly to thighs, arms and head hang heavy. Rise, half lift, flattening the back. Step back into your plank position, and we'll start our sequence in 3, 2, 1. Crunch, crunch 1, crunch, crunch 2, crunch, crunch 3. Take your forearm plank. We're holding for 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Release to the mat. Place your hands underneath your shoulders, fingertips at the crease of the armpit, elbows up to the ceiling and legs together. We lift the chest off the mat for baby cobra, drawing the belly back to the spine, shoulders behind the heart. Don't press into your hands here. Now press into the hands to bring us to our child's or puppy pose, whichever rest pose we're choosing. Take just a breath or two here. Slowly rise back to tabletop and lift up to the tips of the fingers. Extend your right leg behind you. Give me a crunch, knee to chest around the spine, and step the foot into lunge. Left toes tuck onto the mat, knee lifts. Pointer and middle finger, chest sends forward. Step up to half lift, flattening the back. Lower to fold, belly to thighs. And one vertebrae at a time, we'll rise to standing. Take your time, there's no rush. We're going to do that 2 more times through. Slowly lifting the arms overhead as we gaze up to ceiling, and slowly falling to forward fold, belly meets the thighs. Rise, half lift, hands to shins. Step back into your plank position. Starting with our plank work in 3, 2, 1. Crunch, crunch 1. Keep it going. That's 2. That's 3. Forearm plank for 5, 4, 3. Release. Hands under shoulders and legs together. Lift the chest, baby cobra, draw that belly in, and press to child's, hips to heels. Taking a breath or 2 here. And slowly rising back to tabletop, lifting up to the tips of the fingers. Extend the left leg behind you. Give me a crunch, knee to chest, round the spine. Step the foot into lunge and lift the right knee off the mat. Step up to half lift. Lower to folds, belly to thighs. And one vertebrae at a time, rise to standing. Last time through. Inhale to lift the arms overhead. Exhale to find the folds, belly to thighs. Inhale, half lift, flattening the back. Exhale as you step back into plank. And we'll start in 3, 2, 1. Crunch, crunch, 1. Crunch, crunch, 2, crunch, crunch, 3, forearm plank. If you want to amp up those forearm planks, keep with the crunches, but bring them to the outside instead. We're holding here, and we'll release. Lift the chest to baby cobra, inhale. Exhale to child's, hips to heels. Slowly rise back to tabletop. We're going to keep that heart rate up and lift up to the tips of the fingers. Extend your right leg and give me a crunch into lunge. Footsteps in between the hands. Step up to half lift, flattening the back. Exhale as you lower to folds, belly to thighs. And see if you can draw your inhale out as you rise up to standing. Exhaling at the top. Inhale, left arm up to ceiling. Stretch nice and long. Don't hold the breath here. We'll side bend over to the right, and we're going to roll down into our forward fold. Belly comes down to the thighs, head hangs heavy. Rise, half lift. Step back into a plank position and lower the knees to tabletop, knees to mat. If you want to amp up your crunches in tabletop, you can keep your hands flat rather than lifting up to the tips of the fingers, but it's up to you. So if you'd like to try with hands flat, keep them flat now. Otherwise, we're on the tips of the fingers. Left leg extends. Give me a crunch, knee to chest, round that spine, lift the knee high. Inhale to extend the leg again. Exhale to crunch for 2. Inhale to extend. Last one, exhale to crunch. Hold it here, don't hold the breath. See if you can lift that knee a little higher and step the foot into lunge. Lift the right knee off the mat. Bring hands to our thighs, and then extend the arms overhead into Anjaneyasana, holding here. Left knee stays stacked over the ankle. We're on the ball of the right foot. Few deep breaths into the chest. Nice cleansing breaths in through the nose and out through the mouth. Open up to the right into 5-pointed star, so feet flat and arms down at shoulder height. Then lower your arms all the way down by our sides. Toes are facing forward, and both arms lift back to the ceiling. Send all your weight into your left foot. And watch me this first time through, we're gonna take some crunches. So with my right toes, I'm gonna drag them up and over, bring my knee to my chest and my chest to my knee, and then step back, foot to mat and arms up. So once again, just in case you missed it, sliding the right foot over, giving me a crunch, knee to chest, chest to knee, and back to start. We're gonna take that 3 times on each side. Let's go ahead and start now. Right knee comes over, knee to chest, chest to knee, back to start. Use your exhale for 2, draw the knee to chest, bring the chest down, inhale to extend, exhale to crunch, last one, nice crunch, draw the belly in. Inhale to start. Turn your left foot forward so it's facing the front of your mat, and we'll windmill our arms down, back into a lunge position, right heel lifts off the mat. Step back into plank, and we'll take our sequence in 3, 2, 1. Crunch, crunch, 1. Keep it going. Here's 3. Take your forearm plank for 5. You can walk with or keep up with those crunches if you like, pulling them to the outside. You're more than welcome to hold it steady and release to the belly. Inhale, baby cobra, chest lifts, and exhale to your rest position, child's or puppy. Take a short rest here. Bring your attention to your breath. Slowly rise back to tabletop. Preparing for tabletop crunches. Fingertips or hands flat. Extend your left leg pointing through the toes. Give me a crunch, knee to chest, round the spine, and step the foot into lunge. Inhale as you step up to half lift, back flat. Exhale to lower, belly to thighs. Inhale as you slowly rise up to standing, and exhale at the top. Next inhale brings right arm up to ceiling, stretch through the fingertips, hold here, don't hold the breath. Find your side bend over to the left, and then roll down to forward fold, belly to thighs. Inhale as you rise, half lift. Exhale as you step back into plank and lower the knees to tabletop. Tabletop crunches. Extend your right leg behind you. Give me an exhale to crunch, knee to chest. Inhale to extend, 2 more. Exhale, knee in, round the spine. Inhale, last time. Exhale, here's the knee, hold it here, don't hold the breath. See if you can lift it a little higher and step the foot into lunge. Lift the left knee off the mat, hands to thighs and arms extend overhead, holding here. Few deep breaths into the chest. Open up to the left side of your mat, 5-pointed star, arms at shoulder height, and then lower arms down by your sides, feet are faced forward. Bring both arms back overhead. This time we'll switch all the way into our right foot. My back is to you, but that's okay. So take a nice deep breath in, and as we exhale, left knee comes over. Inhale to extend. Exhale to crunch. Inhale. Last time, knee to chest and chest to knee. Back to start. Right foot turns forward to the front of the mat, and we'll windmill the arms down into a lunge position, left heel off the mat. Step back into plank, and we'll start our sequence in 3, 2, 1. Crunch, crunch, 1. Keep it going, nice and slow. Here's 3. Take your forearm plank. We're holding for 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Release down. Inhale to lift the chest, and exhale to your rest position. Taking a quick breather here. Bringing the focus back to the breath. Slowly rise back to tabletop, preparing for a tabletop crunch. Right leg extends behind you, knee to chest, and step the foot into lunge. Inhale as you step up to half lift, flat back. Exhale to fold, belly to thighs. Drawing the inhale out as you rise to standing, and exhaling at the top. Take your hands together at heart center and step your right foot behind you on the tips of the toes. Moving into some balancing work here. We'll start by hinging forward from the waist until our chest is about parallel with the floor. Don't lock out that left knee, tiny micro bend. From here, we're going to lift our right leg behind us until heel is in line with hip. Gaze is down towards the floor. If you need to, you can keep lowering those toes back down. If you're working and struggling on balance. Otherwise, try to hold steady, heel in line with hip, right toes down towards the floor. Belly's active. We're strengthening our legs, strengthening our core. Don't hold your breath. If you want a little more work for your core, try extending the arms forward, palms facing one another, arms framing the ears. If arms are extended, bring them back to heart center, and we'll all rise back to standing, stepping our feet together. Take a breath or two here to reset. This time, stepping the left toes behind us. We'll hinge forward until chest is parallel to floor, tiny micro bend in the right leg. And we'll work on lifting the left heel in line with hip. Keep Keep both hips square towards the mat. If you tried extending the arms on the opposite side, do the same here. Arms forward, palms facing one another. If arms are extended, bring them back to heart center. And we'll all rise up to standing. Taking a breath or two here. Lowering arms down by your sides. Draw the breath in through the nose as you lift arms out at your sides, up overhead. And exhale, hands to heart center. Let's try this again with our eyes closed. Inhaling, arms out at our sides, up overhead. Exhaling, hands to heart center. Keep the eyes closed. Last inhale, arms up. Exhale to fold, belly to thighs. And we'll hang out for a few breaths here. Eyes can stay closed or they can open. Try taking ragdoll, grabbing opposite elbows, allowing gravity to lengthen your spine a little more. Send the weight towards the balls of the feet, but keep the heels making contact with the mat. Low belly draws in. Slowly rise to half lift as you inhale. If the eyes were still closed, open them now and step back into plank. We got our last plank sequence here in 3, 2, 1. Crunch, crunch, 1, crunch, crunch, 2. Keep those knees high. Take your forearm plank. This is our last forearm plank. We're aiming to hold for 15 seconds. I've already started counting. If you're totally tired, go ahead and lower down now. Otherwise, we're still holding here. We've only got another 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Release to the mat. Bring your arms along your sides, palms face up, and turn your head to one side so you can rest on your cheek. Bring your toes to touch, but let the heels fall out. Take a deep breath in through your nose. And as you exhale out through the mouth, relax completely onto the mat. Just a short break here. Slowly turn your head to the opposite side. Bring your chin to the mat. Place your hands underneath your shoulders and press to your rest position. If you're in child, we'll take another variation this time with arms along the sides of our body, palms face up, shoulders melt down towards the floor, and forehead rest on the floor. Nice and slow, start to rise to a seated position. And swing your legs out in front so they're down the length of your mat. And you're seated flat on your sits bones. Extend the arms overhead, drop your chin to your chest, then round the spine into rounded back stretch, placing hands at the knees, elbows pointing out to the long edges of the mat. Shoulders are relaxed away from the ears. And take a few deep breaths here as we allow the muscles around the spine to relax and release some of the tension they might be holding. Try to deepen your breath. Slowly start to lift the spine up right into staff pose. Hands on either sides of the hips. Find some length through the spine and then relax to neutral. Bend your right knee, placing the foot on the mat. Use your left arm to hold on to the bent knee and we'll spinal twist to the right, placing our free hand directly behind us, gazing to the back of the room. We're starting to slow the practice down. Maybe you noticed your breath has slowed down too. Slowly unwind and straighten the leg. Left knee bends, foot to mat. Right arm holds on as we open the twist to the left this time. Again, gazing to the back of the room. Slowly unwind and return to center, straightening the legs. If you're not already seated in the center of your mat, make your way there now. Bending the knees, placing feet to mat. Hold on to the back sides of your thighs and roll down one vertebrae at a time until you're flat on your back. Lift your feet off the mat, so that knees are in line with hips. And then lift your heels until they're in line with your knees. We've got a little more core work to do. This is called dead bug, so I'll have you watch me first if you're not familiar. We'll start with the arms up towards the ceiling. As I straighten one leg, the opposite arm extends overhead, and then I come back to start. Left leg extends, right arm overhead, and we come back. So if I do it kind of fast, I guess I look like a dead bug wiggling, stuck on its back. The important thing here is to keep your low back flat to the mat. Don't let it raise up. So if your feet aren't already in line with your knees, go ahead and lift the legs now and send your arms overhead. We'll start with the right leg extending, left arm overhead. Come back to start. Left leg and right arm. Back to start. That's one. Let's take 4. Back to start. Left leg extends. 2. Here's 3. Keep the low back flat to the mat. Last one. Right leg. Left leg. Lower your feet down to the mat. Lower your arms down by your sides. And extend the legs onto the mat. Left knee draws in towards the chest, interlace the fingers, hold below the knee into Apanasana. So thigh draws close to the body and feet are flexed. If this is uncomfortable for your knee, you can hold on to the back of the thigh instead. It's a great stretch for the low back. We'll take a few moments of breath here. As I come towards the end of my practice, I always find that my eyes sort of close on their own. So if you're like me, maybe you want to close the eyes as we move through these last poses. Gently release and return your leg to the mat. And draw the left knee in, same thing, holding below the knee or on the back of the thigh. Feet are flexed. Gently release. Draw both knees in towards the chest, feet side by side. Again, holding below the knee or on the back of the thigh. Pulling the legs close to the body. And release your hold, bringing your feet to the mat. Bring the bottoms of your feet together into butterfly pose, letting the knees fall out. If you like a little support, you can place your hands on the back sides or underneath the thighs to sort of hold them up. Or just let gravity open the hips. Just taking a few more breaths here. And draw the knees together like you're closing a book, and draw the knees back in towards the chest. Place your arms along the floor at shoulder height, palms face up, then let your knees fall to the right into reclined spinal twist. And gently turn your head to the left. This is our last pose before our final resting pose. It's a great time to close the eyes, start to prepare the body for stillness. And go ahead and draw your focus to your breath. Draw the knees back to center, let them fall over to the left, and turn your head to the right. And relax the muscles in your face, releasing tension from the brow. Draw your knees back to center for the last time and pull them close to the body. Take a nice deep breath in through your nose. Lift your head to meet your knees. Hold the breath here. We'll squeeze everything tight. Fingers, toes, muscles in the face, the arms, the legs. And as you exhale out through the mouth, we'll release and lay flat on the mat. Separating our legs and arms nice and wide. Take up space. Let the feet fall out. Palms face up and eyes are closed. Attention comes back to the breath. Following every rise and fall of the chest. Let your body melt onto the floor. And let every exhale move your body and your mind deeper into relaxation. With every exhale, stress leaves the body. Begin to deepen your breath. Start to wiggle your fingers and your toes. Welcome movement back into your body. Go ahead and slowly roll over to the right side of your body, taking a moment of stillness on your side, maybe using your arm as a pillow to support your head. Keeping your eyes closed or your gaze low to the floor, slowly press yourself up to any comfortable seated position. As always, to end class, we'll take 3 cleansing breaths together as one. That's breathing in through the nose and out through the mouth. Today we'll take a 3-part breath. So we break the inhale into 3 parts, belly, ribs, and chest. We break the exhale into 3 parts, chest, ribs, and belly. So we go in the reverse direction. We'll take that 3 times through. Let's start on an exhale. So release all the breath in the body. Inhale through the nose, filling the belly first, the ribs, the chest. Exhale out the mouth, chest, ribs, and belly. Again, filling up the belly with our inhale, the ribs, the chest. Exhale, chest, ribs, and belly. Last time, filling the belly, filling the ribs, filling up the chest. Exhaling from the chest, exhaling from the ribs, and exhaling from the belly. Take a second to thank yourself, your body, your mind for getting you through this practice. I thank you for letting me lead you on this practice. There is a light within me that honors the light within you. So thanks so much for practicing with me today. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I hope you guys got a little tired. And I hope the following day you're feeling a little sore. Please give me comments, feedback. I'd love to hear it. If you're interested in this class, a new version of this class airs every Wednesday at 8 a.m. If you're interested in my classes, but something a little easier on the body, I teach a vinyasa yoga class. So somewhat like this, without all the core work. That's aired every Monday at 8 a.m. If you haven't yet followed UMBC Rec on Instagram, go ahead and give us a follow. Keep up with all of our classes and our content. We're also on YouTube at UMBC Rec TV. Thanks so much for joining me, you guys. I hope to see you next time.